Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today let's talk about another most important command, mkdir, which stands for make directory, and it is used to create one or more directories in Linux. So let's see how that works in action. So the syntax for mkdir is mkdir, and you have some options that this command supports, and you need to specify the directory name that you want to create. All right. So this is the syntax of mkdir. Now that this is clear, let's go and do some stuff with this command. Now let's talk about how can we use mkdir command in Linux shell. First, let's list out the directories that I have in this opt folder. Right now I am in the opt folder, which is under root. If I hit ls, you can see that I only have one directory, which is cybersecurity. Now I will try to create a new directory using mkdir command. You can write mkdir and specify the name of the directory that you want to create. I want to create a directory called web development. If I hit enter, you can see that a new directory was created. And how do we verify it? If you hit ls, we can verify that the directory has been created. Can you create multiple directories using one mkdir command? Yes, it is possible. So if I try to go into web development and let's try to create two directories inside this folder web development, which is front end and back end, using mkdir command. So I hit mkdir and I write front end and back end and I hit enter. So if I try to list out the contents of the web development file, I can see that the two folders or the two directories which are front end and back end has been created. Now let's go back to the now we are in the opt folder, and now let's try to delete the directories that we created just now. You don't have to know this command because I'm just deleting this so that I can explain you a new concept. Now that this is clear, let me clear the terminal. All right, so now let's do something different. I want to create nested directories using mkdir command. Let's do that. Mkdir, and first I want to have a folder called web development. Then inside web development, I want to have a folder called front end, and inside front end, I want to have a folder called code. And let's hit enter, and you can see that it says cannot create the directory. Why? Because with mkdir, you cannot create nested directories. If you want to create nested directories, you have to include an option P. So let's rewrite the command, the right command, mkdir, and as you know, if you want to write an option, you have to write dash first, then write your option. So which is P. This will allow us to create nested directories. So let's rewrite the same path, web development. Then inside web development, I want front end, and inside front end, I want code. And let's hit enter. And if you see, there's a new directory called web development, and if I go into web development, you can see that there's a new directory called front end, which is nested inside web development. And if I go into front end and hit ls, you can see that there's also one more directory created, which is code. There's also one more interesting thing with this option is that it will not give you an error if there's already a directory with that name. I'll explain you what this is in a clear way. Let's say that right now I am in a folder front end, and there's another directory inside front end, which is code. So let's try to create a directory with the same name, and let's see what happens. If I write mkdir code and hit enter, it says that cannot create the directory because it already exists. So the important thing to note while using the p option in mkdir command is that it will not notify you if there's an existing directory with that name in that specific directory. So let's try to rerun the same command but include the p option in that. So I write mkdir and hit p and write the same name again. So when I hit, it doesn't give me an error saying that cannot create the directory because it already exists. So please note that this will not replace the code directory or the code file that we have it here, but it will just not tell us that this is the error. It does not show us the error, but it just does nothing. Now let's move towards a new option, V. Now I'll go back to OPT and again remove the web development folder to demonstrate the new option. So I'll write web development, clear the terminal, ls, yep. So let's say you want to see what's happening when you hit enter on the mkdir command. So you can do that using v. So I write mkdir and I want to create nested directories, but I also want to see what's happening when I hit enter on this mkdir command. So I write v and write my directory names. All right. So if you observe, as I included v, it tells us that the first folder web development has been created, the second folder frontend has been created inside web development, and the third folder code has been created inside frontend, which is inside web development. So if you want to see what's happening when you hit enter on a mkdir command, you write or you include the option v. Sorry, I forgot to mention that P stands for parent, the first option, and the V stands for verbose. And there's also one more important option, which is M, which stands for mode. So what mode will allow us to do is it will allow us to set permissions for the directory that you're creating. For example, let's say I want to create a new directory called mkdir and only want to give permissions to the owner, read, write, and execute permission. So what I can do is that I'll write mkdir and write m, I'll include the option m and write down the permissions that I want to give to the owner. So I'll write 700 and I'll write the directory name, which is mkdir, and hit enter. So if I look at the permissions of this directory, as I specified that the owner should get read, write, and execute permissions, and the group and others does not have any permissions for this directory. So this option is used in this use cases. That's all for this video. mkdir is a basic command and includes some options, and I've discussed the most used options with you. And if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to my channel for more content on Linux, cybersecurity, and AI. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.